And then on Wednesday, they're like, oh, it's a really nice day out today. I think I'll go to the beach for half a day and then I'll do my prospecting afterwards. Right. Or golf. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Hey there, and welcome to a brand new edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. I am your host, Kirby Hasseman, and joining me today is a brand new rock star. Super excited to dive into the conversation today. He's a sales, revenue, and profit expert. He's the CEO of CEO Sales Strategies. Doug Brown, thanks so much for joining me.
Hey, Kirby, thanks for having me here. I appreciate it. And fellow musician, I appreciate that too.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to break out the guitars in a little bit, but other than musicians, what project are you working on right now that has you like totally fired up, and why?
So actually, there's two. One is I started an insurance company,
Okay.
or an insurance agency. When I first looked at it, I was like, I don't think insurance is for me. But then as I started looking deeper, realizing how many people are underinsured, not insured, and the ramifications that can happen to them. And in addition, I can help people make $100,000 to $250,000 a year as an agent. It really got me fired up. I was like, okay, this is something good. You know, too many people not being able to retire, kids not thinking they're going to be able to buy a house, and others stuck in corporate environments where they don't want to be there. This is because we have lead flow. So that's the thing. Like nobody has to go search their leads. It's like we got so many leads coming in. It's impossible to even handle them all. So that was first thing. And then I had been building over a period of time a personalized, meaningful, and relevant automated follow-up system as a SaaS technology. And it was I built it because I didn't want to lose any sales in our own life.
Yeah.
Right. And so over time, it became kind of a labor of love, honestly. And I way overbuilt it. And somebody said, you should release this as a commercial product. So we decided, okay, this year we're going to do that. So that's the second project. So those two I'm very excited about.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can solve lead flow and automated marketing, you're on to something. So that's really cool. So what are, as someone who has driven sales and revenue and profit, what are some mistakes you see organizations making when telling their story, and how can they fix it?
Well, I think the number one mistake they make is they really don't know their right fit buyer. And so they're telling a story that might be authentic and sincere, but it's not resonating with the person or the company that's actually going to buy it. Right. So it's like, oh, that's a great story, but okay, next. Right. And so companies are like, well, we've got all this and we're pushing our marketing to it and we're doing this and we're doing that and we're doing this. And it's a great offer. Well, yeah, but not for the person you're speaking to. Right. And so that I think is the number one mistake people make. And, I know people are going to roll their eyes on this, Kirby, because I've done this long enough. And I will tell them that Harvard has done this study, Harvard Business School. Wharton has done this business school. Marketo, HubSpot, you name them, they've done this study. And they all conclude that 97% don't know in part or in full their right fit buyer.
Yeah, I by the way, totally agree. And it's funny because you mentioned like people are going to roll their eyes, because I always say it's like so basic that they think, oh yeah, I know that. But I always say that the greatest distance in the world is the distance between I know and I do. Right? They know that they should be doing it, but they're not doing it. And I think it's foundational. So I couldn't agree more.
I'm stealing that quote, by the way, if you don't mind, and I'll give you credit for it, but I love it.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I always say is it's one of those things that's true in most of our lives. We know what we need to do from a fitness perspective. We know that, if everything's being equal and we make more sales calls, we'll get more sales. All the things we know to do them, but we're just not doing them. So yeah, I think that identifying, as you called it, the right fit buyer is powerful. So with that in mind, I mean, what is something that you recommend when you're working with people that they start doing today to make their business or their life better?
Well, this is going to sound a little egotistical or arrogant, but number one, sit down and get a truthful goal. Right. So let's
Yeah.
go back to your rule. I know I do, right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Right. So what I have found, most companies like the idea of growing their revenue, they're growing their profits, all of that. They really do. But they're not truthful about really what they want. And so they go for like, hey, I want to double or triple or quadruple or whatever, right? And it's like, okay, well, here's your marketing budget. Here's this, here's that, right? And no, 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 no. We don't want to do that. We just want 3x, right? Or whatever. And so what I've learned to do with people is say, okay, you have a pie in the sky goal, but what's the real drop dead truthful goal? And the second part of that is, once we get to that, what are the real numbers that need to go to that goal? Because a lot of business owners, they don't figure in things like churn, refund rates, inflation rates, theft rates, all these things. And so they might be thinking, hey, I need 100 sales to get there, but they might need 135. So they run short. Those are the two big mistakes I see that people are making.
Yeah, I think that's great advice too, because I think, and I've been guilty of that, right? I've been guilty of it because I'm like, I'm just going to reach for the stars, and then whatever. But the thing that I heard some advice recently, and I'd be curious to hear what you say about it, is like, how do you reverse engineer it with your daily actions that make it inevitable? And I think you kind of alluded to it there, where you were like, yeah, okay, that's it, but what gets you there? Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, and that's why when we grow revenue in companies or help people do it, we go to a math-based, metrics-based formula, because it breaks it down into, okay, here's what we can do. What do we want to do? And this is what moves the needle from this percentage to that percentage. And so then it goes back to, again, I'm going to keep taking I know, but I do, right? I mean, let's
Yeah.
think about like just prospecting for somebody. If somebody knows that they should be doing, let's say, 20 outreaches one way, 20 outreaches the next way, and 20 follow-ups a day, and they set that as a standard, well, we can measure against that and we know predictably what's going to happen. But if they wake up on Monday and do it, and then on Tuesday they do 2, 2, and 7, and then on Wednesday they're like, oh, it's a really nice day out today, I think I'll go to the beach for half a day and then I'll do my prospecting afterwards, right? Or golf. Yeah, right. So
Yeah. Yeah.
and so that is what gets people into the challenge modes. Holding accountability to the I know and I do, is very important. And I think saying it in another way is lead flow plus workflow equals cash flow, right?
Ooh, see. I'm gonna steal that. That's pretty good. I like that a lot. That's really good. Okay, so that's really good because I agree with you. I think it's those little. What people don't understand is it's the little things that you do every day that really drive the actual results. So, what's another organization or creator or somebody that is doing good work that you're impressed with, and why?
Oh, wow. I'm going to give Russ Whitney a shout out. So Russ Whitney, Russ used to be like a huge, huge business in the real estate training world and the construction world, like $1 billion company. Um, and I'm still in good contact with Russ on a weekly basis. And I see what he's doing. Russ has learned over time how to make maximum amounts of money come in working less hours than anybody would ever think. And you
That's a good
know,
thing.
yeah, I watch him in amazement and emulate some of his practices. But I would say he would be you can find him at russwhitney.com. And he's written books and he's been an author. He's done tons of different businesses. He's just a very smart man. I continue to learn from him. And to me, he does things right.
That's awesome. Okay, final question. This is my bonus question for you.
Okay.
Um, so I live in the branded merch space. We do marketing, we do all this stuff, but branded merch is a big piece of what we do, the promotional products. So is there any branded merch experience that you've ever been a part of that you felt was like the best, either giving it or receiving it?
This again will sound self-serving. So I had a client that couldn't get into a major hospital. And they said to me, I can get there, but I can't get the decision maker to take an appointment with me. And I said, how long's it been? He goes, well, next week it'll be 3 years I've been trying to get into this.
Good for him, by the way, for sticking with him.
Yeah, absolutely. and I said to him, I said, I want you to go get a very large cake made and put your logo on there. And I want you to write happy anniversary on the cake. And then now it was a woman that he was trying to get in to see. So it wouldn't have mattered if it was a man or a woman. And I said, I want you to walk in during, just before, like an hour before lunch. And I want you to walk in the office and walk up to the desk and say this. And he said, what? And I said, go up and say, Miss X, or Mrs. X, it was actually at the time. I'm looking to see her. And they're going to say to you, what's this about? And then you're going to say, I'm celebrating our anniversary. And they're going to look at you like you're crazy. And then you're going to say, it's actually my 3rd anniversary. So could you go tell Ann I brought a cake? So what do? They go out, they get Mrs. X. She comes out of the office 5 minutes down the line. What is this all about an anniversary? I'm celebrating with you our 3rd anniversary of me trying to get in the door with you. And I brought cake for everyone in the office. Now
That's pretty good.
So the cake was branded, right? So
yeah, there you go.
So, it is self-serving, but, you got to get creative with branded in a lot of ways. And I, we're thinking right now of using this branding, even in the life insurance side right now, on the insurance business, where they actually have a book that is Kirby, that is, we can brand to our own brand, but the book actually says, I've died, now it's your problem. Please. and it's like you turn the book and it's like, I've died, write the name in, son or daughter. Now here's what you've got to deal with, right? And we go through and give them all the sheets on what they need to do to prepare for the end of their life, so that their kids don't end up in a big way, so a bad way. So yeah, there's a lot of really cool little ideas you can come up with on the branding side. Branding is important. And promotional branding is even more important. When I was the president of Chet Holmes Companies, we used to do something called the Dream 100. And we would use branded merchandise all the time. And we'd pick our top 100 clients and we'd go after those 100 clients with branded merchandise. We'd always end up with about 20% of them at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, it's powerful when done right. And I love the cake example. And as a side note, The Ultimate Sales Machine is one of my favorite sales books from Chet. It's a really good one. So thank you, Doug. I really appreciate you taking the time. Where can people find out more information about you?
They can go to, if they want to know more about me, just type in Doug C. Brown Revenue Growth. I'll be up pretty much everywhere. But if they want to go to my LinkedIn, Doug Brown 123, or if they want to reach out to me directly, they can either send out Doug at CEO Sales Strategies, both plural.com, or just call my cell phone, 832-549-4836 is the cell phone number.
I love it. Well, Doug, this has been fun. We'll have to do it again sometime, okay?
Yeah, I'd love to, Kirby. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. That's going to wrap up this edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. We'll see you next time.